being able to make decisions, you know, talk about solutions, and there's the role of a community leader, not a paid worker or elected person that could bring link them up, make those connections with trusted persons. So we didn't have an in-depth discussion, it was more about meeting thoughts that we talked about in the marathon.
But can I just add to that final one, that that came from looking at communities who are resilient in the face of disaster.
Yeah.
So looking at post-Katrina, Haiti, Australian bushfires and things like that. And those communities that showed real resilience, they all had one thing in common, and that was somebody, we've used the term community leader to say that, somebody who knew everybody, who knew who was in the wheelchair, who needed the oxygen, who could drive, who couldn't, somebody who knew people and that could actually bring together. Because even when communities have huge amounts of aid and whatever solutions brought to them to solve their problems, if there aren't those linkages of somebody who knows people, who knows what they want, it doesn't work.
Things to come back to that. I'll show you, but then we can let generalise it.
For us, is representing the shared resources in our community. That means that I remember together we stand divided before. And level of understanding, work together, respect, to accept each other. That means to accept as we are, not to say what we should be. And this strong community, like strong one, cohesive one. And the last one is my complicated, but for me most important one, a level of having equality, but quality of equality, two-way communication. And this is how because I know this is not so clear, so I you can draw it this diagram. If you're having two communities, two hills, that hills is not actually natural hills, that is hills of, for example, rural and urban area. And if you have communication between them, you have it is not functioning. It's like losing. It's very noisy. You can hear each other. But with this, with cohesion between your citizens, you can hear very well each other.
He did say he was seeking sponsorship from Specsavers. So I wondered if we could connect some of these things to the model. I mean, one or two people have touched things like that. What are the forces inside a community that will help it to be resilient? You know, the forces inside there. I think the answer to that is quite clear, isn't it? Good communications and good sharing, you know, with each other and whatever. But I'm not so certain as to whether we've picked out or haven't recognised them yet what we might call the forces from outside the community that undermine resilience. Now, I'm not talking about tsunamis, I'm not talking about big disasters, things, but if we take the Walkers or the Jarrows or communities, local neighbourhoods, what are the forces outside the community that would undermine resilience. Just take a minute or two, just literally 3 minutes, just say, what are the forces from the outside that would undermine resilience? Just 2 seconds with that. From the outside, undermine.
Was okay.
But
And lack of communication.
I mean, things that need to be difficult on the government policies. If they're enforced on people where they feel they can't do anything around it. And potentially, economics, as May said, if there are no jobs, if there's no work, the environmental in terms of crops actually feeding, So I think for me, it's kind of key around political, the economics, the environmental, and making sure that people's human needs are being met. And, because as humans we have those basic human needs where we need food, water, shelter. So they're kind of the first,
actually, in my community, it's very important the centralization, decentralization, because a lot of land in my community is not property of community, but the whole state. So if you have plans, something to develop tourism, agriculture, you can't without asking the state. And the state say no.
And no.
What you want to do? What? Leave the state.
So if I did something, they can come and ask me not
the
to.
corruption. Absolutely.
Yeah, corruption.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So
It is like agriculture,
and those are the things I think that help
near
into
water
the
quality.
individual and make the person who they are.
And I have, of course, different things. For example, when I want to call for the the youngsters who is on the agency for unemployment, and I said we need somebody for the English courses. I said we have to be approved by your courses from the Republic. I said, it's a republic, but we are run by own people, which is professional one. He said, you can accredit us. I said, no, somebody official from the republic have to go. And it's some silly, And the things, it is like they have databases, and we are asking for the certain rural areas to call all the people to come to our programs. And they said, you know what? We can't go give the personal data. I said, okay, you call them. No, it's too expensive for that. So what they should do then? Wait for you to get a job in Russia, in Siberia, and that's.
And I think it links all of it, but I think globalization. That's a huge
Let's just have one aspect from each of the tables, so we'll just go around it so we collect the list. So one aspect from